Coming up on UB Basketball Insider, we'll check in with Bulls head coach Nate Oates, who previews today's Big Four showdown with Canisius at the KeyBank Center. Nate's Bulls team finally came home. We'll look back at last weekend's win over Coppin State, and we'll introduce you to the hot wing player from Chicago who's found a home here in Buffalo. Plus, a chat with UB Athletic Director Alan Green. It's all just ahead on UB Basketball Insider.
Nick open, top of the circle, shoots a three, hits the three. First points for Nick Perkins. Lobs it to Connor, open right wing for another three. That one's good. Canisius shot rejected out of bounds by Raheem Johnson. He sent it from the paint all the way out of bounds on the left sideline.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of UB Basketball Insider, joined, as always, by UB men's head basketball coach Nate Oates. You had a nice week, a relaxing week, no games this week, a little different than what you've been going through.
Yeah, it was good. You know, coming off a win, it's always better to have a week off after a win. It's bad to have a week off if you take a loss, then it's not a fun week. So, no, it was good. You know, some good days of practice. Got to go out and see some kids that signed. Since they signed, I can talk about them.
Right.
Jeremy Harris down in Florida, and then James Reese in South Carolina. Just got to go down and see them play, which is good. Need to get that done a little bit during the year. But yeah, I mean, it was a good week for us. Now we got a game on us again.
Yes, you do. You got a game later today. It's part of the Big Four doubleheader down at the KeyBank Center as Nate's Bulls will take on Canisius in the 3:30 start, second of the two games. Boy, Canisius comes in as hot as you guys have been. They've won 3 games in a row. They won 5 of their last 6 games, and it's a local rivalry. It's in the big arena. There's a lot of buildup for this one.
Yeah, no, they're playing well. I mean, they popped Albany pretty good. I mean, even when they played Kentucky, I thought they played Kentucky. Wish they had that game on in the bus as we were traveling to a game. So, you know, and they're playing well. I mean, Coach Witherspoon's, he's got his system in. It's pretty similar to what people saw here, and they've got some pretty good talent. You know, they got good guard play. They got Crumpler inside, so they're looking good. It's going to be a tough game for us today.
You had the big win over them in overtime last year, kind of a memorable win as far as your season went last year. Is that something you'll show back to the guys to get them ready for today's game?
You know what? We talked about it a little bit. You know, we easily could have lost that game, and it was a home game. You know, Jaren had to hit that 3 at the end of regulation, and Nick had the big dunk there late in overtime to get the win. Bearden gave him a nice pass. So, it's been good games. They're rivalry games. They're going to be up for it. We're obviously going to be up for the game. It's downtown in the KeyBank Center, so it's a nice venue to play in. It's going to be a nice game today.
And that's the 3:30 start, second game of the doubleheader down there as Niagara and Bonaventure open up the doubleheader. Well, meanwhile, let's go back and talk about last weekend's win. The last time your team has played was the win here at Alumni Arena against Coppin State, 87-52. Willie Connor with a career-high 28 points. He hit 8 threes. Your team as a whole had 15 threes. That's second most in school history. Is the downtown shooting game starting to find its range a little bit?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's a good sign. And we made 15 with Blake didn't hit any. Nick only hit 1. CJ may have had 1 or 2. So, it wasn't like our typical guys. Obviously Willie's one of our best shooters, if not our best shooter. So he hit a bunch of them. But, we had a lot of guys contribute to that. So hopefully I think it's more of a, we've been talking about moving the ball, getting our assists up. I think if you look at that, I think we had 21 assists on 27 field goals that game, if I remember right. So our assists have been coming up. So I think, having good shooting games is a byproduct of moving the ball like that. So hopefully we can keep moving the ball and keep shooting it well and get some other guys to start making it. Maybe we'll go after the record here sometime this year.
Yeah, we like that. Speaking of moving the ball, a big part of that is C.J. Massenberg. In his second game back from the mono, he has 15 points. But beyond what he gives you on the score sheet, it's just the ability to have a bit of a calming influence, the ability to put other guys back into their roles. Is that almost as important with CJ being back as whatever it is he contributes in points?
Yeah, it is. I think maybe Blake's pressing a little bit, to score, and we didn't have as many scoring options out there without CJ. Hopefully Blake can settle back. Blake was almost 40% shooter from three last year, and I really think he's a better shooter now this year. He's worked on his game a lot in the offseason. He's not shooting as well as he did last year. I think some of that is he's just kind of pressing. And now with CJ back, he doesn't need to do that. The ball can move a little bit better. Guys can, take great shots. I just think there's enough, and CJ's going to play a decent amount of minutes, and there's enough scorers out there. Nobody has to force anything. Like, the ball can move, and it'll find its spot to the right shooter, guy that takes an open shot, and hopefully the turnovers continue to stay. He's been back 2 games. We're averaging, I think we had 8 turnovers against Pitt and 11 against Coppin State, so that's down around 10, which is where we want it. It's under 10 since he's been back, so hopefully the turnovers stay down and our assists stay up and the ball keeps moving and we shoot the ball well.
Right, and the young guys continue to improve. James Jones, Dante Carruthers, Devontae Jordan is one of the newcomers, and Quate McKenzie with 9 rebounds against Coppin State. That's something that I would assume on your end you're happy to see him finding a little niche as well, too.
Yeah, because he missed the 4 games with the concussion. He was out the same time as CJ, so it was good we got them both back the same game for Pitt. He just goes to the boards every time. He had that nice tip dunk against Coppin, but he's just there all the time. You can tell guys to go all the time in practice, and some of them they can't figure it out. Like, it's not really that hard. I guess it is hard because everybody doesn't do it, but it's not. You have to continue to tell people not to stand there and crash. He just goes every time. So when he goes every time, he's going to be around the ball a lot, and he finds his way to the ball, and he's going to be a big player for us here in the future. He rebounds well, he guards well, he's been shooting it decent, and he's really athletic and can make up for some other guys' mistakes, which he did Saturday with the Coppin State game. So it's good to have him back. Carruthers made those 2 threes. Hopefully he can get some confidence going, shooting the ball. He's been playing great defense for us, so hopefully we can get his offense flowing a little bit more with us too now.
Right. Well, and one guy who we know is a big player for Nate's team, and that's the aforementioned Willie Connor. Much more on Willie. You'll get to really meet Willie and learn all about the kid from Chicago. That's next when we return on UB Basketball Insider.
Buffalo sports fans, ring in the new year at Alumni Arena as the Buffalo Bulls basketball teams look to finish 2016 with a bang. On Friday, December 30th, the men will take on Maine at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday, the women's team begins their quest to defend their MAC title as they open up conference play versus Miami at 6 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit ubbulls.com or call 1-877-UB-THERE.
This segment of UB Basketball Insider is brought to you by CEFQ. For all your banking, insurance, and investment needs, visit your local branch or go to cefq.com.
Welcome back to UB Basketball Insider. My name is Paul Peck. In that Bulls' big win over Coppin State, senior wing player Willie Connor tied his career high with 28 points. His 8 3-pointers are the 3rd most in UB school history. In this week's CEFQ player profile, we'll tell you why MAC opponents need to fear the beard.
Hi, I'm Willie Connor, senior on the men's basketball team.
Kind of letting the Bulls take that shot clock down. Connor from the left corner switches a 3.
Why not? Willie Connor now 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. He's hitting from everywhere. He's hit the top of the key, both corners. He's been really playing well.
Pretty much, we was just focused. I think it was the most focused I've ever been, all season, as far as paying attention to every detail that was going on within the game and knowing everything about every player and what they do and what they like to do. Going into that game, I was feeling good. I did the same thing I do every game. You go out there and shoot. I went out there and I hit my first 2 threes, and I was feeling good. And then after that, I just kept hitting them. So, that's pretty much what happened that game. my favorite play and moment, winning the championship, because for one, that's like my first championship, so that was, very special to me. And then another was when I had got the MAC tournament MVP, because I don't know, a lot of people always say like, well, you're such a great leader, you're such this, you're such that, and I don't know, that stuff kind of like just comes to me like naturally though. Like I don't like try too hard to like be something that I'm not. I just try to go out there and just try to like just lead by example.
Dribbles to the left, bounces to Bearden out front, now right side Connor. Willie backs up, takes a three, and he switches that one. 20 points for Willie Connor.
I worked on shooting a lot and then trying to shoot off the dribble a lot, because I know like obviously like everybody's gonna remember from the MAC tournament that, oh, he can shoot, like he makes shots. So, I wanted to add kind of like a little wrinkle with, kind of like just shooting off the dribble and just, being more confident and being more aggressive with doing those things. So I worked a lot in off-season on that. It's really crazy, for just a little kid like me that's coming from Chicago and was just able to stay focused and stay driven, and, I always stayed true to myself and, my values that my family held, and, being able to come to UB and be successful like I am now.
Well, the numbers that Willie Connor put up against Coppin State, as we mentioned, Nate, 28 points to tie his career high, 8 threes. What is it about his game that seems to have taken that next step this year?
I just think he's more comfortable in the offense. It took him a while last year to figure out where he's going to get his shots, and, guys are looking for him now. He shot the ball unbelievably well through all the fall. We stat practices, and he was shooting over 50% from three for most of the practices leading into the first game. So he now we're finding him in the games again. We were looking for him. We were hoping he'd get the record. I think the record was 11. He missed a few there at the end, and we got him out of the game. But he's a likable kid. He works hard. He plays hard. He comes in the gym, works on his game. He gets extra shots up. So he deserves to have some good shooting games like that.
Right, and we talk so much about his offense, but last year he was on the All-MAC defensive team, and you have determined as a coaching staff that he's the guy you're going to use to be your defensive stopper as well, too.
Yeah, I think there's 5 games in a row there, up in Alaska and then coming back where he was guarding the other team's leading scorer and did a pretty good job. A lot of them, he kept them significantly under the season average. So, he's got the capability of doing that, particularly when they're a wing, and we can put him on some point guards because he's got size and length and makes it tough to shoot over, and he's a tough kid and plays hard. So he doesn't just play one side of the ball. He's like you said, he was all defensive player in the MAC last year. Now he's scoring it big for us this year. He scored it big last year. He was the tournament MVP too.
Sure.
He got hot in the tournament for us last year.
Right. Well, a well-rounded and all-around guy is Willie Connor. Well, coming up next on UB Basketball Insider, we're going to sit down with UB Athletic Director Alan Green, talk about a lot of topics, including his favorite ice cream flavor. You care to chime in on what your favorite ice cream flavor is?
I could be politically correct. I'm sure Alan will give you like True to the Blue or something like that since it's the UB. But no, I like Perry's ice cream. That's my deal. We go up to Niagara Falls, has a place up there, Dee Dee's Dairy. I get the turtle pecan though. That way, if it has nuts in it, none of my daughters want to eat it. Like they give you a bunch, so you only eat half it. You bring it home, they won't touch it if it has nuts in it. So anything with that, so I get to make sure I eat it myself at the end.
Always scouting the opponent and coaching Archie.
Yeah, there you go.
When it comes to ice cream. So we'll find out what Alan's favorite flavor is when we return on UB Basketball Insider.
Buffalo sports fans, ring in the new year at Alumni Arena as the Buffalo Bulls basketball teams look to finish 2016 with a bang. On Friday, December 30th, the men will take on Maine at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday, the women's team begins their quest to defend their MAC title as they open up conference play versus Miami at 6 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit ubbulls.com or call 1-877-UB-THERE.
Welcome back to UB Basketball Insider. It's time now to sit down with UB Athletic Director Alan Green. It's been a little while since we haven't had a chance to check in with you, probably towards the end of the fall sports. Well, now you are all in on winter sports here, and give us a little idea on how things change around here.
Hectic. And maybe the hecticness doesn't change, but as we leave the fall and get into the winter sports, it's incredibly exciting. Thinking about our men's and women's basketball programs, in particular our women's program, the three-peat from our men, thinking about men's and women's swimming and diving, which I know is going to have an exceptional year. And then into wrestling and watching Coach Stutz and those guys compete, it's a great time. It's a great time to be around UB athletics for sure.
All right, you mentioned basketball, and obviously they are the marquee winter sports. And boy, the women's basketball team, the fantastic start, reaching as high as 12th in the RPI rankings, as high as any University of Buffalo team has ever gotten. From your observation, are you sensing that Felicia has all the pieces in place that she wants?
I think so. And I don't think you need me to tell you that. I think watching how the program not only started last year, we were, I think, 6-0 last year to start the season off. We went through a little skid, but then watching those young ladies compete toward the end of the conference play and then through the MAC tournament, that is a true reflection. They're taking on the persona of Coach Jack. And you talk about a fierce, passionate competitor. That's what you see out there on the court, and I'm not surprised by the results at all.
You've been around athletics all your life. I think you can sense things. The confidence of winning that MAC championship last year, do you see the women's team playing with that confidence right now?
They're playing with that confidence, but it's interesting. They're playing with even more determination. I think it's one thing to have led the regular season, won the regular season, and won the conference championship. We won it as an 8 seed, and I think what that brought us and what that taught us is that as long as we compete and play defense and have the passion for basketball and attention to detail, then the sky's the limit. And we're starting to see that now. So they're hungry. They're definitely hungry.
Well, men's basketball starting to find their groove a little bit too, and I know one of your big involvements on that is making sure the schedules are done the right way. And as you look at the men's basketball schedule, and we've talked with Nate about this, daunting. 2 top 10 teams in Xavier and Creighton, the trip to Alaska, the crazy long road trip. But I think now that it's over, Nate can exhale a little bit and say, you know what, that was good training for us. As an athletic director, is that your perspective as well?
I think it is. We talk about winning conference championships and Mid-American Conference championships. In order to do that, you have to put your teams in the best position to be successful during conference play and have them peak at the right time. So I think it was really important for us to play some really tough competition to get our guys a chance to get a feel for the flow of high-level basketball, and also recognizing that we can compete at that level. You watch us against Pitt. We started off really shaky, but boy, did we come roaring back. And that's what, and CJ, having him back on the court adds to that little extra dynamic. So Coach isn't pressing by any stretch of the imagination with the record. I think he's fine with it. It's about how we prepare ourselves for conference play, and I think we're right where we want to be and need to be. And certainly we need to continue to get better and continue to perform.
Even from the first basketball games of the year back to the exhibition games, there's been a different level of buzz and excitement inside Alumni Arena. Is it something you've noticed?
Definitely. It's funny. My 9-year-old son plays AYB, Amherst Youth Basketball, and we had our game against Coppin State on Saturday. We played it 2 o'clock. My son had a basketball game at 5 o'clock. And the first thing I saw were people wearing the whiteout shirts. And then before my son's game started, the referee was like, hey, great win by UB. And I'm like, that's cool, because the little UB Bulls are about to play right now. Right. So it was really great. And then people in the community are starting to take note.
And that's how you notice, and that's how lots of people notice, is all of a sudden people are wearing the shirts they wore at the UB game when they come to their kids' game, or you see them bouncing around town when they're in the supermarkets and stuff. Are those the things that you look for a little bit as indications that things are moving in the right direction?
Absolutely. I think, part of what athletics can provide is a sense of pride for our university and our community. Whether you went to UB or not, we, as the largest public flagship university in the state of New York, we've got to have a sense of pride and ownership in our city of Buffalo, and knowing that we can be New York's public powerhouse right here from this great city of Buffalo. And I think that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see UB alums wake up and say, wow, you know what? I went to a great school. Athletics is turning that corner. The men's team has won the MAC championship 2 years in a row. The women won it last year. That's something that I can take real pride in, and I want to showcase my pride in the community. And I certainly wear my UB stuff to Tops all the time. And if I happen to be in the aisle buying some Perry's ice cream, I want to make sure people know I've got some UB pride.
What's your favorite flavor?
I gotta say it's true to the blue, Paul. Perry's ice cream made it just for us, and I can guarantee they won't be disappointed.
Why am I not surprised that that's your favorite? Coming up next on UB Basketball Insider, we'll take a look at the top 5 plays from the Bulls' big win over Coppin State.
Tenacity, ambition, purpose. Here, it's not just what we do, it's how we do it.
Welcome back to UB Basketball Insider. We told you about it a little earlier in the show, but now it's time to look at our top 5 plays from the Bulls' win over Coppin State.
Number 5.
And it comes to Harris. Terry Harris spins on McKenzie. Shot rejected out of bounds by Raheem Johnson. He sent it from the paint all the way out of bounds on the left sideline.
Man, I tell you what, Blair Brown, Lipschitz, our volleyball coach, been proud of that as he just spiked that ball out of bounds.
Number 4.
Kicks to Connor for a left wing 3. No good. High for the rebound, Devontae Jordan. He misses the follow. The ball's loose under the bucket, and Devontae comes out of there with it. Great hustle. Connor left wing. Top of the key, Carruthers. Dante backs away from the defender, gives it to Jordan, goes down the alley, lays it up, count the basket, and a foul. What a sequence for Devontae Jordan.
I'm so glad he scored that play because he earned every bit of those 2 points.
Number 3.
Picked from Simpson, takes it to the basket, blocked off the backboard by Kadiri, taken by Hamilton, quickly ahead Connor. Here's a lob for Perkins, who finishes at the rim with a 2-hand slam.
Nice find there from Connor to Perkins, and actually I thought the pass was going to be a little too low, but good hands by Perkins to grab it and throw it back through.
Number 2.
The ball's loose under the basket again, and Jones comes out of the scrum with it for Buffalo. Harris hurt, down for Coppin State. Left corner, Connor tries a 3, hits another one!
Oh, he is absolutely on fire right now. As soon as he gets that ball, he's like, I'm shooting this, and sure thing, nothing but net. 8 threes in the game.
30-point Buffalo lead.
Number 1.
Top of the arc, McKenzie, left side. Connor tries a long 3. No good. Slam dunk followed by McKenzie.
Oh,
wow.
my goodness.
Holy smoke.
Willie Connor missed the 3-pointer a little long. Quante McKenzie with one hand, almost cocked it behind his head and threw it down.
Well, thanks for watching UB Basketball Insider. Don't forget, the Bulls are at the KeyBank Center later on today, part of the Big Four doubleheader. They'll take on Canisius with a scheduled start of 3:30. And this coming Wednesday, the undefeated UB women's basketball team goes for a 9-0 start when they take on Big Four rival St. Bonaventure here at Alumni Arena. Tip-off is noon. We want to wish everybody a happy holidays. We'll be back on January 14th to get you ready for the start of the Mid-American Conference schedule. Until then, we'll see you next time on UB Basketball Insider.